Welcome to the Hopeful Podcast, where we talk about how our faith in God, with God, and because of God gives us hope each and every day. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hopeful Podcast. We are so glad that you guys are here, that you guys are able to watch with us. And, we didn't say it last time. If you guys can just comment down below, where are you from? Where are you from?
Where are you
we
from?
still want to know. I want to know where you are from. Anyways, yeah, we want to know where you're from. We just want to connect with you guys. We hope that you guys have watched our last episode, because as we said, we are starting off this new series all focused on relationships. What? So fun. So last week you guys got to see, we talked about the topic of singleness. Basically, me and Seti's love life was put on blast.
Facts.
And so, we're like, you know what, Seti, you did all right. So we're going to bring her back on for another episode because we know you guys liked her on the last one. So
I passed the audition.
She passed the audition.
Yeah.
So she is, if you guys didn't watch our last episode, she is our producer, director, editor, mukbang
TikTok
eater,
personality.
TikTok personality,
Everything.
person.
What can't she do?
I was gonna say persona, but I switched it to
yeah,
personality,
yeah.
so I was like personality. Anyways,
you know,
but yeah, so we brought her back on, and we're just here to talk about relationships still, but this one is a little pivot. Now, last week we talked about singleness. Today we are going to be talking about toxic relationships and setting boundaries. Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one. But honestly, I feel like this is a topic that is definitely relatable and something that we should be talking about, because I think that it's a topic that not a lot of people like to talk about, or they shy away from it out of shame or out of we just don't want to tell people about this. But honestly, I feel like this is a safe space, and we just want to be able to start the conversation here. True. And our hope and prayer is that the conversation continues off camera with you guys, wherever you're at, with trusted people that are around you. And so, yeah guys, I kind of just wanted to start it off with, like, have you guys ever experienced or have been in a toxic relationship? And I guess, how did you know it was toxic? If you have been. Sorry.
Yes, I have been in a toxic relationship, toxic friendship even. And what a toxic relationship is, it's one that's harmful to you. Mm-hmm. It's unhealthy, and like one of the biggest signs is it's pulling you from God. It often involves like manipulation, a lack of respect, and like in latter terms, like worst case scenario, abuse. And so, yes, I have been in a toxic relationship. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good definition of it. I have been in a toxic relationship. It was not fun. And I knew it was toxic because I started to change who I was to fit the mold that the other person wanted me to be. So I was definitely not myself. Yeah. And I was losing sight of who I was. I didn't know the Lord like I do right now back then, but I knew that something was off because I was just not myself ever. Yeah. And my moods were constantly like this, always dependent on the other person, you know? Yeah. But yeah, they're not fun. Definitely not fun. Yeah. So we wanted to touch on all different kinds of aspects in relationships, you guys. And this is one of them that we hope we can get, like Nicole was saying, we can get the conversation started. So it's a normal topic that we can, that we can talk about and be able to connect with others that have been in those kind of relationships. And hopefully, like, we can all help each other get to a place of healing from toxic relationships. Because if you haven't found your healing, that's something that I know the Lord wants to lead us down a path of healing and restoration. Yeah. And so, let's do it, you guys.
Let's get it.
Whoa, let's open it up. Yeah, I kind of wanted. So I know you guys were touching about like how you guys knew it was, but I know that as you go through a relationship and you started to realize it, how did it affect you guys, like either mentally, emotionally, spiritually, when you were going through that time?
I think like it affected me where I had so much anxiety if he wasn't near me, or like, oh, I'm gonna make him mad if I do this, or like a simple thing is like I have church on Sunday mornings, and so like Saturdays, like I have to go to sleep early, but that's like time when like teens are free, and so like if I'm like, oh, if I tell him I can't go out during this time, oh, he's gonna be mad, and there's gonna be a whole nother thing. Like it was giving me anxiety, but I was doing the right thing, and like that's how I knew. I was like, oh, this is weird, this is bad. And then also like my confidence relied on him solely. Like if he didn't like how I looked, I'm ugly, or like if my hair wasn't the way he liked it, I was like, damn, no one's gonna love me. And then that was something that also kept me latched on forever, was, or like for that time being, was like oh, this dude loves me the most. Like if I leave, no one's gonna love me after this.
So this is a romantic relationship.
Yeah, this was romantic.
Yeah,
it was very it was
fine,
romantic. Yeah. And so I think those were like really big signs. But when you're like, something about toxic relationships is like you don't realize this till after, or unless you have like someone that loves you that much to kind of bring this to light to you, you're not even noticing these types of things. Like it just becomes normal to you. Yeah.
No, I understand. Like similar things happened to me, and it was like everything in my life was dictated on that person's emotions, and those person's emotions could have been up here, they could have been down here, but I was always trying to like meet this person where they were at constantly, and I was tired. Emotionally, I was tired. And and the things that I would do throughout the day would be like, oh, if I do this, I won't have enough time for this. If I do this, then I won't have enough time to talk to them during this time, and doing whatever. So it was like dictating my time, my emotions, like everything. And when I finally realized, like to the full extent of it, it was over. Like you were saying, you don't really know the extent of the toxicity in the relationship until you've taken a really big step back, and other people help you through it and help you heal through it, right? But when that was like in my younger years, I've had my fair share of toxic relationships. But yeah, when I was in my younger years, like I look back on it and I wish that I had a friend that knew the Lord like how you guys do, to help me through that. Because it was a lonely time trying to like kind of get my self-esteem back on track and to be confident again, because it's kind of crazy how much it tanks your confidence. Like one person's attitude, their actions can tank whatever you believe about yourself. It's nuts. But yeah, I just keep thinking, like I reflect back onto younger Alex's years, and I'm like, man, I wish I had godly community back then. I wish I had people supporting me and praying for me and telling me that they love me and they care about me, and that I didn't always fall into the belief that, oh, I'm all alone, like no one really cares about me, no one loves me anymore, like this person doesn't love me anymore. It equates to, in my mind back then, it equated to like, oh, I'm unlovable. Like this is over. This is it for me. Like I'm never gonna get into another relationship again. Like it was so hard to get into this one. Like I never thought that anyone could even like me like that. Guys, when you are young, it is brutal. That's why in our last episode, I kept saying, like, you know, my husband and I feel really bad for the generation now and them trying to find partners. It was already hard back then. Like it just makes me so sad now, you know, and even more so with the influence of social media comes even more toxicity, comes even more judgment, because you're constantly comparing your relationship to someone else's. Yeah.
That's deep.
But yeah, when I was younger, I had just wished that someone told me that I was going to be okay. Because when the whole breakup and everything happened, I I tried to isolate myself because it just seemed easier to not burden other people with my problems, because I would constantly talk about it. But that was the only way that back then I could heal from it, is when I constantly talked about it with the same few people.
Yeah.
But then I felt that they were getting tired of me saying all of this stuff. So I was like, let me just back off a little bit and I'll just do my own thing. Did that happen with you?
Yeah.
Or a different situation?
What was that last situation? Sorry.
Oh, your toxic relationship.
Yeah.
The one that you were just talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you pull yourself away?
Did you pull yourself away? Did you have a
From other
community?
people.
Oh,
Heavily?
yeah. I during this time, like my main crew was like Nicole, Sarah Grace, our other cousins TT, Nay. I barely saw them ever, and like it also isolated me because I was going to my parents' church at the same time. For some reason, when I would go to youth stuff, it like took away my I didn't know how to be social. I didn't know how to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
So I kind of just became isolated there as well. And yeah, I definitely, like, reflecting back, wow. Yeah, I was alone for a lot of it. And that's probably why that dependency came through. Because it was like, only he likes me. I don't have to talk to anyone because only he,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your whole world's revolved around that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is crazy how fast, like, your thinking can change when that happens.
Yeah.
Which is why, like I said last episode, I'm praying for all these young people to know the Lord, like, and be rooted in the Lord really strong, because when you get into these relationships, this is like a science, like a biological thing. It really actually changes the chemistry of your brain, because I don't know. I don't want to be making up things and people are like, you're wrong. And I'm like, I'm not a scientist.
check her.
You know?
Fact check her now.
I'm a piano teacher.
I'm a piano teacher. You guys. But I mean, I can tell you from experience, like, I feel like I was an intelligent person before being in those relationships, and then after, I felt like I was dumb. I was like, how was I so dumb that I let this happen to me? But when you're in that and your emotions are being swayed here and there, there is no telling who you are going to be after that relationship if you are not rooted in the Lord.
Oh wow. Yeah.
No, literally.
Honestly, because I'm looking back to younger Alex and I'm like, if I had known the Lord, I would have been able to heal faster from that one. If I had known the Lord, that probably wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have let that happen to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's deep.
But
how did you guys get to that point where, I know how you're saying like you drew back, right? And then you're able to see that you were in a toxic relationship. But like, how did you guys get to that point where it's like, oh, I'm in a toxic relationship? And like
the light bulb going off?
Yeah, the light bulb going off. And then what led you to, I guess, like, how did that relationship end?
They all kind of ended pretty similarly now that I think about it.
Yeah.
It was like, I was waiting. I was always waiting for like a message to come in. I was always waiting for a validation to come in.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, wait, I feel tired of this. Why is this happening? And then I would start reflecting back on everything and finally taking like stock of what has happened.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is not good. And it always ended pretty badly. I will not lie. It was never like a nice breakup.
Yeah.
It was always like I just ended up in tears, and we never talked again.
Yeah.
It always ended up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mine, I would say like I haven't been in multiple toxic relationships. I've only been in one, and that one, I didn't realize it during the relationship at all, because he was like a crutch to me. But it took him breaking my heart into a million pieces.
Oh dang.
And like, I wouldn't even say after that I realized it was that toxic. It took like months of me like processing and healing and be like, I didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
I deserved better. And then I think like, I would say it took maybe a year. Like even after that, I didn't like hearing his name. I didn't like, I blocked him. I blocked all his friends. Like, and my mom to this day, like, still like loves him.
Different. Yeah.
My mom still loves him. But even she knows like it's a sensitive name, like to not bring it up around me. But it yeah, it took a lot of healing for me to get to a point where I'm like able to realize like it was toxic, and not only like, not to put all the blame on him, as like I'm like, I've matured enough to also say like I was toxic as well. Like I enabled the behavior and like I let it go on. I didn't say anything. But yeah, that it ended with him breaking my heart. And it took like months, years even for me to like even kind of like think of him in a nicer way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah, in a nicer way is the key phrase.
In a nicer way.
To think of them in a nicer way instead of like I hate you, like I hate your guts, like I can't believe you did this to me kind of thing. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. It's hard to get out of that place, and and you're right. The blame is also on the other half too, because we let it happen for so long, and because we're just afraid that the relationship could end at any moment. So you don't want to like, you know, you're kind of like walking on eggshells the whole time.
Yeah.
But
You're like
that's
dependent
not
on
good.
it. Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
When you have to be walking around on eggshells around your partner, and you feel like the relationship could end at any moment, that's already like
You're in the relationship out of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a good reason to be in a relationship in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did,
but what's up?
Did you like, so I know you, so basically he ended it with you in that instance, in that relationship?
No.
Okay.
An action was done.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay.
Oh, you cut it off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then like for you, did you end those relationships, or did they end the relationships?
They did.
Ah, okay.
They did. It was always them that ended the relationships.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of a couple of those relationships, I had found out that those people were talking to other people.
Oh.
And then that broke my heart even more.
Yeah.
And then by the time they came to me and said like, oh, I want to break up, I was like, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
done with this anyway.
Yeah,
I already
yeah.
found out.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, wow.
sleuthing.
That's heavy.
Got
Yeah.
some sleuthing skills. I think that's how
Yo,
my FBI
skills.
my CIA FBI skills got.
Yeah, no, like I can
That's
find
why
out
you guys
anything.
are so good at digging up dirt on people.
Actually, I honestly think that that's it, because
Honestly,
I
yeah.
was so boy crazy when I was younger.
Yeah.
That I was. And every time I got hurt, I was like, oh, I have to find out everything that I can on this person before I even agree to be in a relationship with them.
Facts,
But I
yeah.
didn't find everything, because those are the things you can't see online,
Yeah.
like their personality, like their emotions, and
Yeah.
and how they navigate in their relationships. And
Yeah.
maybe they've gone through some hurts and they're just projecting it onto you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see all that stuff online.
You know.
Wow. They
Crazy, right?
So if you guys ever want, you need help with that, I'm just kidding.
It's dangerous.
Hit us up in the DM.
That's too funny. No, but I guess so like I guess another question I have for you guys is like, what are some red flags that you noticed? Like I guess you, when you were in the relationship, you guys said it was hard to notice it, but when you were out of it and like you were reflecting on it, looking back, what are like some key red flags that you could see that were like, ooh, yeah, I should have known. I should have seen that.
The one that stands out for me right now that I was thinking of was I was putting, like, I was so considerate of them and their schedule and like their priorities and everything, and they weren't. That was it. That was the biggest red flag for me, that they weren't. It wasn't
Reciprocal.
It wasn't a reciprocal like respect.
Yeah.
It was definitely more like me trying to meet them where they were at instead of us meeting halfway.
Yeah.
That was a big red flag for me. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then one more thing. They didn't seem to try to be interested in the things that I took interest in. It was always, we have to do my thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't really like that idea. I think that's dumb. A guy said that to me once, and I
yeah.
was like, whoa, I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, was that very manipulative, like very controlling in a way.
Yeah.
Like a big sign of that is they will enter every crevice of your life. They will put themselves in every like aspect, every community you're in. Like, he engaged with all my friends, made all my friends like him, but like the persona he gave to my friends was different than the one I knew. And which made it worse for like, oh, I can't leave him. Like, he's in everything I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was even in the clubs I was in.
Oh.
So it was very hard. And then also
Just
like
everything.
Yeah, he was just in everything, and I'm like, why? Like there was no space, like no boundary at all into what he was doing with me, and there's something else. Also, he like didn't respect who I was as a child of God. Like he didn't respect that I went to church every Sunday, like hence like the Saturday night hangouts. Like, oh, I'm tired. Like I'll call you later. No, why? Why is it so important? And then like me being like, oh, you're right. I was young and naive. And like so like when the split happened, it was hard. That's why like I lost a lot of friends. I stopped doing a lot of things I loved because the memory of him was like embedded in. So like I think like just pray for like discernment because like if I had discernment in those, I definitely would have saw that like definitely quicker. Seti.
When your emotions get into it, you get blinded. Like
Love is blind.
No, really,
Love is blind.
That is true. Love is blind. If you thought you were a smart, intelligent person before a relationship that you were not supposed to be in, you will find out very quickly that you are not a smart person after the relationship. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
And like going back to that last episode, how we talked about like working on yourself. Like broken people cannot heal broken people.
That's true.
So like,
hurt people.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I'm like, so if you're not working on yourself and you jump into a relationship, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting that other person.
Yeah.
So
Like
get to blameless.
But so like
hurt people.
Hurt people.
Right?
Yeah. And so like I was gonna say, no, because you know how it's said so much in society, follow your heart, follow your heart wherever your heart leads you. But actually the scripture says to guard your heart. Guard your heart above all else, for everything you do flows from it.
Yes.
And so really it's like, I think taking up that guard against your heart and not trusting every single emotion or feeling that comes out. And really like what you're saying, going into that discernment and seeking out God and saying, okay, God, is this the relationship you want me to be in? Or like really kind of setting that tone before entering it too, I think, and also throughout the whole relationship as well, is good too. But it's sounding like the things that you guys were experiencing in your romantic relationships could actually apply to all sorts of relationships, right?
Very much so.
Romantic, friendships, family ships.
But
any kind of relationship you have, that kind of mindset could get in the way of just like, oh man, is this like consuming me, to the point of where it's sounding like a lot of what was happening in the relationships led you guys to a place of isolation.
Yeah.
Where you didn't really notice it or realize it, but it was like, ooh, I am getting further and further away from people, that I'm kind of by myself, that I have no other voice in my head except for me, and that could all get to a place of being in a dangerous spot. And so wow, thank you guys for both sharing those vulnerable testimonies. I know that's not easy, but I guess I have my next question for you guys is just like, what have you learned from that? Like from being in those relationships, and I guess for you, Alex, too, because you know how you're saying you're in multiple. Like what have you learned from actually it happening again, and then from after that? Like, what was something that you learned from that?
Yeah, there was a pattern to all of those people that I was in relationships with.
Yeah,
they all had almost the same like the same quality, like attributes. I want to say.
Yeah.
And from the beginning, it was always, I think I was drawn to them because their personalities were so strong and they were very charismatic. And something I should have, I wish I could have told myself, my younger self, was even if someone is charismatic, even if someone is outgoing, even if someone is well liked by everyone, that doesn't mean that you should try so hard to be with that person. They could not be like that behind closed doors. They could be very different, and in my case, they were different. And I wish I had the discernment that I have right now.
Yeah.
But I think what would have helped is if I was surrounded by people that were a little bit more supportive at the time. Because before it was just like, you'll be fine. You'll get over it. It was kind of just like brushing it under the table. I was like, no, I'm really hurt, you guys. Like, this is not a fun place to be in. And I wish you were a little bit more supportive and like encouraging, but it was really just like, you'll be fine. We talked about it 2 times. We don't have to talk about it again. Yeah. So I think it's really important to be surrounded by a solid community throughout all of whatever is happening. But I also feel like I would tell myself to look out for, if he loves the Lord. If he loves the Lord. Because if he loves the Lord, then you know that you have this commonality that you both are rooted in the same person. Yeah. Right? You have the same beliefs. For me, I see how important it is to have the same beliefs as the person that you have as a partner. It matters a lot. Yeah. A lot of people will say that it doesn't matter, but for me personally, I think that matters a lot because, like, I love the Lord and I know my husband loves the Lord, and that makes it easier for us to go through different trials together. Yeah. Right? To go through different issues together and to be able to work on it. Because if we don't really believe in the same thing, then there's always going to be that friction. And that's exactly what happened in all those relationships. There was always friction because we never believed in the same thing. We were never rooted in the same thing. So, I think that's one of the things that I noticed. Yeah. If you don't have, like, the same beliefs, there's going to be a lot of issues. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because there's that thing about being, like, unequally yoked.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Unequally yoked.
And we're called, and so, like, and it's like not like egg yolks, right? But it's like there was a device that was used that would connect 2 animals together, and that was like what they called it, to be yoked, that you'd be yoked together. And so think of it that wherever, like, let's say if me and Seti were connected, wherever Seti would go, then I would naturally have to go, right? And so really whoever your partner is, if you are yoked up with them, wherever they lead you, that's where you're gonna go. And if you are not going in the same direction, then you're not really gonna be moving. You're gonna be like you're gonna be struggling to go forward, to go anywhere. Like you won't be able to go forward if you're both going in 2 different directions. And so it's just,
I found the scripture. Nice. I took it from TPT version, but it's 2 Corinthians chapter 6. It's verse 14. TPT.
The Passion Translation.
Translation. Yeah. Don't continue to team up with unbelievers and mismatched alliances. For what partnership is there between righteousness and rebellion? Who could mingle light with darkness? And then verse 15 says, what harmony can there be between Christ and Satan? Or what does a believer have in common with an unbeliever? It's loaded. Ooh, there's a reason why that's in there.
That's good. Yeah. No, that's just, it's a testament to like make sure you're walking on the same path as the person that you're doing life with, and hoping and praying that both of the paths is towards God. Yes. You know, because I feel like that's where fruitful, loving relationships will be.
Amen.
And so, Seti, have you, what have you learned from your past relationship?
What I've learned or like can reflect on is like going back to those times. Like there were times where like I was hurt, I was crying, and where you seek counsel matters. Like I mean, like where you like who you're asking for advice, who you're venting to really matters, because like they're gonna guide you. Like they're gonna give you guidance, and if it's bad guidance, then girl, like I mean, I had my friend group, and like my best friend, bless her heart, it was like the blind leading the blind. Like I'd tell her, and then she'd be like, dang, so what are we gonna do? I was asking you, girl. I was asking you.
That's funny.
But like I say, like seek people who like know God. Like me now, I would immediately go to Nicole or Alex. But like back then, like it was like I had like I didn't trust anyone, or like I didn't know who to go to. And I think if you can find those communities, those are the ones that can tell you, like, girl, that's not what he's supposed to do. That's not what's supposed to happen. That's not healthy. Like, you definitely need those outlets. So I say something I learned is, like, seek wise counsel.
Yeah.
Like, iron sharpens iron.
Proverbs.
Yeah, and then
Proverbs, yeah.
what is that one verse?
27. What?
When one friend falls, have another to lift you up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, where is that from? Yeah. That's a verse.
But yeah. But yeah, something I learned was like seeking wise counsel.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good.
I even had a cousin that was a pastor, and I didn't go to him. That's crazy.
No, true. And then
But
honestly
then, you know,
too,
yeah.
and honestly too, it's like know who your counsel is. I think,
Yeah.
because as Teddy said, she had all, like, we actually all were in her life at that time. But
true.
she just chose not to come to us. And so really it's like just choosing the right people to go to and to confide in. And the question is asking, how are those people's relationships with Christ? Or if you know them, like, what is their track record?
No, for real. No, for real.
You know? And so yeah, I think seeking out trusted counsel.
But what I will say, though, with seeking wise counsel, I did have wise counsel for the relationship before Dawn.
Oh.
And I healed way better.
Oh,
like
nice.
way faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wise
It's
counsel.
Testament. Wise counsel matters. Your community matters.
Yeah.
Because you guys were all able to come alongside me and pray with me.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And then I was rooted in ministry, and then Donna and I started dating. Yay!
And now she's
Wow.
married. Now she's married. That's good. I kind of wanted to ask though, like, I'm sorry, I'm just a curious cockroach. I was gonna say curious
cockroach.
I couldn't say anything cuter. A curious cat. I'm a curious cat.
Okay.
Oh man. No.
Curious cat.
Okay, curious
Caterpillar.
cockroach.
Curious caterpillar. If you made it this far,
man.
put a caterpillar in the chat.
Caterpillar.
No. I guess my question to you guys is like,
Yeah.
do you guys feel like the relationships that you were in, your toxic relationships, do you guys feel like that has affected your guys' lives in the way you see relationships now?
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a deep question. I feel like my view on relationships now is better since I started my relationship with my husband. But before that, yeah, I can say that it did affect my outlook on relationships, because it made me think that that relationships are always short term. It always made me believe that, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just date them for now.
Yeah.
Whatevs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just never thought a long-term relationship could be possible. Yeah. And then Dawn disproved all that. The Lord used Dawn and disproved everything that I believed about relationships.
Yeah.
And it literally turned my world upside down. And I was like, oh, this is a godly relationship.
Wow.
This is different.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I really like it. I feel like I'm not always like walking around on eggshells, or like always wondering if like they're mad at me and like that I said the wrong thing the other day. Yeah. Yeah. Because before it was always like, if it's a short-term relationship, whatever.
Yeah.
If I get hurt, I get hurt. It was never enough. It wasn't a lot of respect for myself. It was more like for them.
For them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's
That's
good.
crazy.
I
That's
think
crazy.
I'm the same way as well. Like, the relationship I got into, I have a tendency to go for guys I'm friends with. So it yeah. But it definitely shapes the way I look at relationships now, but for the better. Where am I going with this? For the better, and it's more, I reflect more on myself now. Because once again, it can't just all be his fault. I was also a part of the problem, and every time now I think about relationships, I'm like, am I even prepared for that? Have I healed from things? It's definitely, I'm finally looking within instead of searching for hoping he can fill what I don't have. I think it shaped that, and also shaped the way I look at boundaries and forgiveness.
Yeah.
I do forgive him for everything we went through. I forgive him, but that also doesn't mean forgiveness doesn't always mean he's back in my life. So I forgive him from a distance.
She said
distance. And also, like, it taught me that boundaries are healthy.
Yeah.
Boundaries are also biblical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like how you said, like, guard your heart
Yeah.
from something flows. There's also something in Titus.
Yeah.
I don't know where in Titus, but it's something like something about a divisive person. Warn them once, but if it happens again, from a distance.
Like that.
And
said.
NCT, New City Translation.
New SETI Okay. All right.
But that's somewhere in Titus. We'll put it up right here.
I'm dead.
I'll put it up right there. But yeah, so I think for the better, it like I say, like, don't linger around the memory of your toxic relationships, but learn from it.
Yeah.
And those are the things I've learned from it.
Setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries, forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Yeah, true. Because boundaries is something that I feel like people don't really like talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like nowadays there's no such thing as boundaries.
None.
It's just like free for all, you know. And once you're in a relationship, all right, boundaries are out the door.
Crazy.
But yeah, no, that's a good one to just be able to set boundaries with one another. I kind of wanted to ask again. Sorry, I mean, ask a question, another question.
What's up?
I guess so. Like, for the well, also too, have you guys ever? We can kind of segue into this too. Is like we talked about toxic relationships, but have you ever experienced this within not a romantic relationship,
Like a friendship?
So like a friendship or like any other kind of relationships. Yeah. And do you guys feel like it was like you could sense the same thing, or you kind of went through the same thing, but it just wasn't in a romantic way with somebody else? Yeah.
Yeah. I think high school. This happened during my junior year of high school. And this one I did have counsel. I had my mom.
Yeah.
And moms are really good at seeing through like fake friends. And like this group of friends, like we've been friends since like our 8th grade year. And it was definitely a lot of me giving. Like a lot was being taken from me, but like when it came to me, it was like, why? And like when my mom saw that firsthand, and she like kind of pulled me aside and was like, are you sure this is the type of people you want to hang out with? And like they weren't the best influences at all. And like I was like, yeah, but like we've been friends for so long, blah 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 blah. But after like receiving that wise counsel, suddenly I could see it. And then like when I began putting up boundaries, it was suddenly I'm being called fake.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes like toxic friends, when you put a boundary there, it's like pouring water in oil, like hot oil. It like sizzles. Like
Yeah.
whoa, that was pretty good. That was a great illustration.
You just pause to give yourself credit.
Whoa. But yeah, it's like putting like a drop of water in hot oil. Like it's not taken very well.
True.
And like
Yeah,
I got
agreed.
called fake, and like that even confirmed it for me. So I was like, I need to step away. So like my whole senior year, I was just rocking me and my best friend.
Oh yeah.
And like I was like the happiest I've ever been. So distance isn't always bad, and boundaries aren't bad. Sometimes you just need that.
That space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boundaries are a good thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you realize that, your friendships may not be as good for you as you thought. And just
True.
because you've been friends with someone for so long doesn't mean you need to continue on that relationship. Sometimes we just feel guilty that, we've been friends for so long. Why would we cut it off now?
True.
You change.
Yeah.
You change as people.
Yeah.
But for me, I think one of the friendships that I'm like thinking of right now that actually ended, it was actually my husband that pointed it out at the time when I was still friends with these people. He was like, they're not good for you. He pointed it out, and I had never seen it that way.
Yeah.
He was like, they're not good for you. They are tearing you down. They're not good influences on you. They're trying to make you do things that you clearly don't want to do. He was like, I don't know why you would put yourself in a situation like that. Like pray about it. Like actually bring this friendship to the Lord and see what he says. And I did. And as the months went by, I went and I hung out with them again, and I had this really strong conviction of, I have to tell them what my boundaries are, because this isn't good. And there were so many times that this person specifically had made me feel, one, insignificant, because I was just trying to share with this person like what had been happening in my life, and constantly the conversation was turned so that the intention was on them, and they just wanted to talk about what they wanted to talk about. And it was always just like, I was just there to listen, and my opinion never mattered. And when I said like, oh, like you said this and it was really messed up, I was always gaslighted. No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you're making that up. And I'm like, I have a really good memory.
Period.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure you said that. Like, I don't think that's right. And it got to the point where I had to tell them, like, I really don't like what we've been doing as friends. I really don't like that we talk about each other behind each other's backs. And like, if we can, you know, apologize to each other and like get past that and do whatever, that would be good. And I was met with more gaslighting, and I was like, oh, so okay, Dawn was right. Dawn's discernment was right. What the Lord was convicting you about is spot on, and this can't go on anymore. Like, you can still love people and have respect from them, but not have to be in a relationship circle, in their circle. You don't have to be there just because you've been friends for so long. And unfortunately, and this might have been more on my part, but when that happened and that friendship ended, I simultaneously ended friendships with a huge group of people. And I had distanced myself. Like, I have not talked to these people, I want to say, how long has it been? Almost 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yep, when I gave my life to the Lord, I started having more of these convictions, and I was like, I have to follow that.
Yeah.
I have to do what the Lord is telling me to do. And if you think that I'm just using this as an excuse not to be friends with you, then that's what you think. But this is what I believe, and I know that this is not a right relationship to be in. Yeah.
No, that's wow.
Yeah. I haven't talked about this in a while.
No, yeah,
For real.
That's actually wow. That's good to talk to hear
about.
Because it's like, I do think that there's definitely times where it's like, oh yeah, like what you're saying, we grew up together, like that's my friend, like I can never do that. And it's just like, you can still love people but not have them like
in your life,
you know. Because I feel like there's gonna be that circle of people that you have that you allow to speak life into you, or to speak anything to you. And really, whatever they speak to you, it's either going to build you up or tear you down. And you really need people in your corner that are going to build you up, but also correct you in love. Yeah, that's good. I really like that. It really relates to all kind of relationships. But I kind of wanted to, like, as we're kind of bringing it to a close, I wanted to ask you guys, if you could give somebody advice that's watching this, that is currently in a toxic relationship. They're probably watching this. They didn't even realize it. They're reflecting on it. They're like, whoa, I think I'm in a toxic relationship. Whether that be romantic, friendship, whatever kind of relationship it would be, what would be your guys' advice to them in this moment? Or in this season that they're going through?
In this season, I think for me, like I'm speaking to myself a couple years ago, is like, you're loved, girl. You're loved. You are a daughter of the High King. You are worth so much, girl. And like, knowing your worth in Christ, you don't deserve that, girl. You do not deserve that, point blank, period. And a lesson I learned from Nicole a while back, it's your time and energy, they're filled into different, like, think of like containers, and your time and energy is sand. You just got to put people in their correct container. So we have our main circle, the people that pour into you and you pour into them. Then you have people you pour into, and then you have other people like, you know, and you love. And it's not that like I hate you, but like, you just got to know where you put people, and that's kind of setting boundaries and your expectations on them as well. So when you know which container they belong in, your expectations are lower, and like your boundaries are up, and it leads to a much more healthier like friendship.
Yeah.
Friendship,
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
It can be applied elsewhere. Main circle, middle circle, small circle.
Do you
Wow.
remember giving her that advice?
No.
Wow.
No, I do remember a time, where I used to talk about that a lot, where it's like, really, I don't like to say categorizing, but basically it's just knowing how to love people.
Yeah.
Because we're
Yeah.
called
There
to
we go,
love.
that
We're
one.
called to love everybody, and it's just knowing how to love each and every person in your life. Because we
Yeah.
don't. Not everybody is gonna be our main circle or our closest people, and so really it's recognizing that and knowing that. Because I think before I used to put everybody in this like general bucket and be like, I'm just gonna love everybody, but really what that's gonna lead you to is burnout, getting hurt by people, and expecting too much and not having those expectations met.
Yeah.
So really it's just like, hey, who's my main circle? Who are the people that I'm going to allow to feed into my life and that are going to kind of like, you're gonna have those people that mentor you too as well. And then who are those people that are like, hey, they're my friends, they're my homies, like we see each other once in a while. And then who are those people that it's just like acquaintances, like, yeah, I know you, cool, like I'm called to love you, but I'm not, like, you're not going to be that person that's going to be speaking into my life. So I think by recognizing where those people are in your life, where they stand, it definitely helps with how to love them.
That part.
Yeah.
Amen. Guys, can I just say same?
Yeah. This is really good advice.
No, yeah. Yeah, honestly, same. Because you were starting to say exactly what I was going to say, but you said it in a more like younger version. So we'll just stick with that. We will stick with that. Amen.
Amen. No, that's good. That's good. I think just like, and reiterating what both of you have been saying too, is just like, know your community, know the people that you're with, know your worth, and that like there is a God out there that loves you, and there's people out there that truly do want to root for you and pray for you. And so like, if you haven't found those people yet, like just keep searching, keep praying for it, and I believe firmly that God is going to place people in your life that are going to walk alongside you on the journey. And so yeah, thank you both. Wow, that was so good. I'm so happy, and I'm blessed that I got to hear what God's been doing in both of your guys' lives and in your guys' relationships. And if you guys been listening, we hope that this blessed you in some way, and we hope this gave you a little bit of hope in your situation, that God is with you and he's walking alongside you in your journey. And if you made it this far in the video, as Alex said, put a caterpillar in the comments. And that we're just so happy to just be able to talk stories with you guys. And as we said in the beginning of the video, we hope that this continues the conversation after this episode ends with the people that are around you. So we're so grateful. We're thankful for all of you out there. And no matter where you're at on the journey, always remember that hope is found in him, with him, and because of him. All right, guys, till the next pod. Bye.